In today's video, we have some major updates regarding the mysterious Southport killer case, which continues to take strange and unexpected turns. We'll break down the latest developments, but before we get into it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more updates. The secrecy surrounding the Southport suspect has reached an almost surreal level. Each new piece of information only raises more questions, and the situation keeps getting stranger. Let me make it clear. Everything I'm about to discuss is public knowledge, and it's what everyone's been talking about. Yet the mystery remains incredibly thick. So what's the latest? The suspect was supposed to appear in court this morning, but reports surfaced that the hearing was delayed for reasons no one can explain. Eventually, he arrived at the court building, but here's where things get odd. He never actually made it into the courtroom. Instead, he was reportedly kept in the cells due to some unexplained illness. No one knows what exactly is wrong, but his behavior, or lack thereof, suggests he's being anything but cooperative. His legal team entered a not guilty plea on his behalf, which is baffling, given the evidence stacked against him. After all, this is a case where terrorist materials, including bomb-making instructions and a so-called jihadi manual, were found on his computer. You'd think this would be an open and shut case, but here we are, watching this odd narrative unfold under a thick cloud of secrecy. This secrecy isn't just talk. Members of Parliament have reportedly been warned not to ask questions about the case. Journalists, too, are being restricted in what they can report. Even well-known figures like Tommy Robinson, currently imprisoned, have hinted that there's much more to the story, but they're also silenced by restrictions. Back to the court hearing. Even though the evidence seems overwhelming, his legal team still entered that not guilty plea. It's a formality, but why bother? The trial seems inevitable, with proceedings set to begin on January 20th. Here's where it gets even stranger. This date coincides with a major global event, the U.S. presidential inauguration. Could this be a calculated move to bury media attention for the trial, using the chaos of a high-profile political event as cover? It's hard to say, but it's definitely something to consider. The BBC's coverage of the day's events has raised further questions. While they claim the suspect denied the charges, eyewitnesses report that he refused to speak at all. Is this a case of sloppy journalism, or is there something more at play here? Someone controlling the narrative, perhaps? It's just another layer of confusion in a case that keeps evolving in unexpected ways. Let's not forget the weird details. The suspect reportedly had that terrorist manual on his computer for 3 years before anyone noticed. His name has been scrubbed from court listings, and reporting restrictions have been placed under the Children and Young Persons Act of 1933, even though the suspect isn't a child. To make things even more bizarre, we haven't seen a single photo of him as an adult, and when he does appear in court, he's kept his face hidden. What exactly is being protected here, and why? The court allowed this not guilty plea, even with evidence that seems to point to a guilty verdict. It raises the question, why? Could the trial be unnecessarily drawn out, with the cost to the public in mind? This case has been full of twists and turns, and there's no telling where it will go next. What we do know is that the trial starting on January 20th will be one to watch closely. While the world's eyes will be on the U.S. inauguration, I'll be focused on this trial, trying to uncover the truth behind all the secrecy and confusion. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This is a case that's not going away anytime soon, and I'll be here to follow it to the end. In Parliament, KEIR STARMER recently addressed the Southport suspect, stating that the case raises serious national security concerns and calling for full transparency. How this will play out remains to be seen, but one thing is certain. This story is far from over. Look at this.
The government's own independent reviewer of terrorism legislation, Jonathan Hall, KC, has said repeatedly recently that it is important in incidents of terrorism that the authorities put out more information sooner in order to prevent an information gap. Does the Prime Minister agree?
I think it's very important, first and foremost, that in all cases, including the particularly difficult case that the Speaker mentioned earlier, that the police and prosecutors are able to do their difficult job. And all of us in this House have a choice to make, including both candidates to be the next Tory leader. They can either support the police in their difficult task, or they can undermine the police in their difficult task. And I know which side I'm on.
Well, KEIR, that does not answer the question, does it? That's called obfuscation.
The community remains deeply affected by this tragic event as families mourn the loss of young lives and seek justice through the ongoing legal process. If you think this video provides important information, don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. Take care and goodbye.